I wanted to just talk about something that really pissed me off, just in general. It's annoyed me since its creation. Multiplayer achievements and trophies. Now, I know achievements and trophies, they don't really matter. They don't really matter that much. They're just a little digital accomplishment. You get it. Sometimes on Xbox, maybe you get a little background for doing it. Most games don't use that feature. PlayStation, maybe you work your way, you get a platinum trophy for a game you really like. A lot of games make those things inaccessible and actually unearnable eventually by making multiplayer achievements. So we're going to talk about that today. If you enjoyed today's video, please be sure to leave a like and subscribe for more content. But we're going to hop into it real quick because for me, this is something that really is irritating because no matter what game you are, your multiplayer will probably at some point shut down. And when that happens, these multiplayer achievements are no longer obtainable.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if these studios don't think about that or if they do and they just don't care.
I think it's that second one.
You think they just don't care?
Yeah, why would they care?
Well, I guess for me it's just frustrating.
Mm-hmm.
Because at some point multiplayer games die.
Yep.
Which I'm not saying multiplayer games can't exist, but it's at some point they die. And I guess to me what's really frustrating about it is if you have a game like Titanfall 1 where the game is pretty much an online game, like that's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
I understand having multiplayer trophies or achievements for that game because I feel like at that point, as the player, you should just know what you're getting into.
Yeah.
Right? Like if me in 2023 wants to platinum Titanfall 1, I feel like I would be an idiot to really expect to get that platinum trophy in 2023.
Unless unless it was still online and you organized a bunch of boosting lobbies.
So it's like, I feel like there are some games where maybe this is an exception, but for most games, like for example, Arkham Origins is mostly a single-player game.
Yeah.
Their multiplayer was kind of a forgotten aside, like a fun side thing that it really felt like it was thrown into the game just as a fun thing, but it wasn't really the main point of the game.
Right.
Why is there multiplayer trophies for that game? It doesn't make sense. When you buy Arkham Origins, you're expecting to play a single-player game, and then the multiplayer is a fun thing on the side that if you want to play it, you can. But that online shut down pretty quickly, and now there's a lot of players that can't get that.
Yeah, and then it was back for a while, and then WB noticed people having fun, and so they had to...
gotta shut that down.
They had to put an end to that.
So it just doesn't make sense to me. You know, if you have a game that's mainly single-player with an online option, just don't make any multiplayer trophies for that game. It's that simple.
This is something I'd also like to talk about more in a future video. I'm not even sure what it would be named, which is unfortunately one of the biggest hurdles of making videos. Is if I can't name it, no one will see it. But I would like to talk to you in the future about single-player games in general that have the internet tied to them, and then features get locked behind the internet. You know, a good example of this is Metal Gear Solid 5 I've been playing, MGS Online. Well, Metal Gear Online is tied to it, and unless I miss something, my understanding is that there are certain soldiers, some of the top tier soldiers and things like that you can get for your single player that you have to play the online to do. You know, and so eventually you hit a point where even with these features, it can hurt a single player game, which I want to talk about that separately in a future video, but it's the same idea where you have these unlockable things. And once the online shuts down, they don't do anything to actually, you know, give you any content back for that. It's not like, you know, oh, our multiplayer shut down. Here's a new level for Killzone. You know, oh, our multiplayer shut down. We're going to patch out those trophies. So anyone who earned them, they will be in a bonus trophy section. Anyone who didn't, they will be in a bonus trophy section so that it doesn't affect your platinum. They don't do anything like that. What they do with these games is the game comes out, right? And let's say you have Killzone Shadowfall, and say there's 5 multiplayer achievements, trophies, I should say, because it's PS4. Well, say the Killzone Shadowfall multiplayer shuts down. It did, by the way. It shut down. That's a PS4 game. And now you can't get the platinum if you didn't play it at that time.
Right.
Even though most of the game is a single-player campaign. Or games like Transformers War for Cybertron, which I've been playing recently, and I either will have made a video on at this point or am planning to. But that game, an entire mode, 2 modes of the game are locked behind online. Escalation, which was a survival mode, which for some reason you can't play offline by yourself, which locks you out of multiple characters, or also they have the multiplayer, which is also through their servers, which are shut down right now as of recording this, and you can't get the achievements tied into the multiplayer. Those are just not there. So if you're playing it on Xbox, obviously there's no platinum, but you still can't get those achievements. If you're playing it on PlayStation 3, you just can't get the platinum at all. And this is a big problem with game preservation is you still have the game, but parts of it are just gone. Parts of the game have been ripped out, and now you can't even unlock everything, for those achievements.
Right. Yeah, that's a major problem. If it was something like, going back to Arkham Origins again, if it was something like, oh, the online shut down, oh, that sucks, I guess I can't play the online version of it, but nothing really affects the single-player part of it, I wouldn't care. Because it'd be like, well, that sucks, I wish I could play the online part of it, but whatever.
You'd care, but you wouldn't care in terms of this point.
Exactly.
Yeah, so it wouldn't be as big of a blow, because you'd say, well, I guess that was there for years.
Well, and that's the thing. But now there's trophies behind it, so now you feel like you missed out. Now, the thing is, I got the platinum trophy on it.
Wow, we got a brag.
I'm going to brag on it. I'm going to, throw this out there. I got it. So I guess it doesn't really affect me personally because I got it.
But it affects me.
But
and
it does
us
affect you because you
really
missed out.
Yeah.
But there are so many people out there that could not get the platinum trophy.
Yeah.
And it's really frustrating.
But Nate,
that's
they had years. They should have played it earlier.
Yeah, I guess so.
They didn't play it at the arbitrary time limit when it came out. Didn't you understand that video games, they're like food in the store? They expire at a certain point? You didn't understand that they have an expiration date?
Like there's a lot of people that think that way.
Like a batch of bananas? This game got moldy?
Right.
Yeah, it's
basically the Suicide Squad game in a year. But yeah, so
it's just, always online crap.
It's just,
for now.
It's stupid, and to me, the stupid part is that people don't understand this. Particularly the companies.
Mm-hmm.
The companies either don't understand it or they don't care. And
Second one,
I think it is they don't care.
Yep.
I think they're just like, yeah, it's a multiplayer. Put on some trophies, and it's like, oh, but we can't get the platinum in 10 years. Yeah, whatever.
Well, the reason that they threw those trophies even in there in the first place, I think, is so that they could brag to investors about active engagement.
Yeah.
Because here's why they want multiplayer, other than just spending money. Because they want to do all these stores and stuff. But the reason that they do this is because in investor calls, then they can say, hey, by the way, across all of our games, we have over 15 million active users right now. And those people are all people we can reach with marketing, and we can reach them with new game sales, or we can reach them with microtransactions. So even in games that aren't focused on that, it's still a big push to say, look at all these active users we have right now. Wow, active users. Aren't active users great? So they'll ramrod in some little digital accomplishment you can or maybe not get into the multiplayer so that you are actually encouraged to try it, because otherwise you might just look at it. You might look at Transformers War for Cybertron and say, I don't care about multiplayer. I only care about single player. I play Transformers games because I like robots shooting each other and I enjoy the story. Well, now you're not going to care, but we throw some little digital MacGuffins behind it, and all of a sudden you're like, I need that, because human beings, even ones who don't care, we all evolutionarily or are wired to, or however you want to say it, our brains, they have needs to complete things. Some people are much better at ignoring those needs and moving past them and not being a completionist. Mm-hmm. Other people are much more into it. Maybe people with some form of autism or OCD, like I have OCD, and it affects things where it's like, if I had every trophy except one, that's bothering me.
Right.
And I think they prey off that kind of thing. Because yes, just because maybe you don't care and you ignore it, and maybe you think, oh, it would be cool to have all the trophies in Spyro, but I'm not going to spend the time, so it's whatever, I don't care. Maybe someone can ignore that, but a lot of people are going to think, oh, that would be really fun. And then the people with actual mental issues around completionism are like, I need that. Mm-hmm. I need that thing. And I think that that's kind of the people that they're really preying on with stuff like this to get more active users, is the people who are really, they have a hard time letting go. Does that make sense? I don't want to turn it into like an ableism thing.
Oh, no, it makes perfect sense.
I mean, even these companies, they actually hire psychologists in a lot of cases, and they look into how to make their game addicting without getting in trouble. There's been a lot of research on They do the same thing in casinos. It's different, right? So you have to find different ways to hit those dopamine centers.
Right.
And these achievements, these trophies, digital slot machine type things when you play a game and it's like you unlock this loot box, open it up. All of those things are designed to trigger dopamine responses and make you, whoa, I need to play more.
Mm-hmm. And
so when they do this kind of thing, it's almost like they're preying on that brain fallibility. Like, because our brains are not perfect. We have these chemical imbalances and we have these chemical needs and stuff. They're almost preying on that kind of addiction mindset in order to, I think, drum up the active user bases. But then as soon as they have no need for them anymore, they kick them to the curb. They shut the thing down. They say, nah, we don't care about that anymore. And it doesn't matter if you still feel like you wanted to unlock stuff, or it doesn't matter if this is more than a game to you. Maybe this mattered to you. It didn't to us. To us, it was a product. So here's the finger. See you never.
Right. Actually, they got their money. And
we'll see you when you buy our next game.
Right.
Because fuck you.
Right.
That's really what they think. They don't care.
Right. They got their money and they want to move on.
Yeah.
They think, oh, who cares about Arkham Origins in 2023? Doesn't matter. We want people to play Arkham Knight or Gotham Knights, I guess, at this point.
Mm-hmm.
We want people to play our next game, or we want people to play the Suicide Squad game coming out. But then the problem is we'll be making a video about this in 10 years talking about the exact same thing.
Well, this is exactly why I want to talk more about the online connectivity stuff, too, even outside of trophies in a future video, because I personally think that it really is just we made our money, let's move on.
Well, and that's the attitude. And the thing is, I never thought about this growing up. I never thought this with anything. It doesn't matter if it's a Xbox game, a PlayStation game, a Nintendo game, doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
I never thought that the studios wanted this to be a disposable experience. No matter what the game was, even if it was an online game growing up, like on the Xbox 360 or something, like Modern Warfare 2, for example, I still feel like they put enough time and effort into the single player of that game that even outside of achievements and trophies, there was a lot in it. Nowadays, it's like, oh, let's make an online game with, we'll have microtransactions and season passes and online connectivity only, and I guess maybe there's a single player. And it's just stupid. And I also hate it, kind of tying back to our original point, I hate it when they tie trophies into this, because then if I'm not playing that game the millisecond it comes out, I missed out on it.
That's what it's fear of missing out.
There's going to come a point where I can't get that anymore, and that is dumb. I like your idea where they can actually take those. If you're going to shut down the online, fine. But then take those trophies and either move them into a separate category so they don't affect the platinum, or, what I would even like better, which they'll never do this, give everyone the trophy.
Yeah.
And just say, sorry, you can't get this anymore, so now everyone gets it.
And just say default. Like when it says like date given, just say default.
Yep.
Or
there you go.
Defaulted. And then if someone looks at the trophy, they can say, oh, Nate didn't earn this trophy,
right,
but
exactly.
I did.
Right.
But it's not bothering him.
Yep. Because he still can get the platinum trophy.
I feel like that's a much better way to do it. And, if your point is, well, that invalidated my experience of actually earning it. No, it didn't, because it tells...
You still got it.
And it tells you that you earned it. But I find it really annoying in general, because, again, it goes back to disposable experience.
Yep.
It goes back to, we don't care, we got our money, suck it.
So I hope you buy the next thing.
And also, it encourages you to buy the next thing earlier, because I guess you missed out.
Right.
That's what it is. It's almost like them rubbing it in your face. Like, oh, we retired that portion of the game. You had a chance to play it already. Why didn't you? Where were you when we were pushing that part of the game? What's your problem? And that's not really how you should treat video games.
Yeah, that's a good point, because I think that's probably a lot of it, too, is, again, not to use the same exact example, but Arkham Origins, if
we're really going after
I understand
Arkham
this.
Origins
I
here.
am upset about it. If
it should be me. I didn't even get the platinum.
Well, that's why I'm upset about it.
You're upset for me?
Yes, I am. I actually really am.
Nice little bonding moment.
Because I know you would be upset for me if the roles were reversed.
Nope.
So it's just a stupid thing.
I would be laughing in your face.
Right, you'd be rubbing it in my face all the time.
Well, I rub something else in your face.
Okay. Well, yeah, I think the answer is literally, oh, well, the game was online for all these years. You didn't get it. Oh, we have this online-only Suicide Squad game coming out soon. You better buy that.
Yeah, maybe you shouldn't miss out this time.
Yeah.
Moron.
This is coming out soon. You want to play this.
Idiot. Loser.
You missed out on Arkham Origins, sorry.
You stupid bitch.
It's just, it's pathetic.
Yeah.
It's stupid.
It's really stupid. I do like the idea that they're kind of like the cable company guys from South Park rubbing their nipples, though, like at your pain. I mean, that's what it comes down to at the end of the day. These people don't care.
No, they don't. They don't at all.
They don't care at all. And if they did care, they would fix it. Or, here's the other thing they would do. Leave it up. If you're not a small indie studio, you have no reason to shut down your servers. But it costs money. Okay, people like Activision... They've kept up their servers for years on all these original Call of Duties. Now, did they do a good job with it? No. It's finally getting fixed on Xbox, but they were at least up. You know, companies can do this, especially big companies. But then look at companies like EA, you know, or 2K. Every couple of years, they're like, hey, that sports game we made? Nah. We don't really want you playing that anymore. We want you buying a new one. And the reason they do that is because the games don't progress enough to justify buying new ones for a lot of people. So if they shut it down, they kill that old player base and they're forced to move on.
Right.
That's just another example of this, is that these companies, the reason they shut this stuff down is because they don't want you to play a game forever. You know, you pointed out they used to want you to play their game for as long as you wanted. It was a point of pride for the developers if in 15 years people were still doing GoldenEye split-screen multiplayer matches.
Mm-hmm.
That was a point of pride. But now, the publishers are like, there's no money in that. We don't want that. We want it to die. And I think that these multiplayer achievements are a big symptom of that.
Right. Well, and also the other fix they could do is if you really don't want the servers anymore, you can switch it over to host-based servers.
Mm-hmm.
So therefore, you're not running a dedicated server. You can just say, oh, someone wants to host a game? Well, there they go.
Yeah, peer-to-peer.
Now, their internet is the one hosting the game.
Mm-hmm.
Not ours. We don't have to pay for our servers anymore, but at least you can play it.
Well, and most of these, by the way, they aren't even hosting it. That's what's so weird is that it's still peer-to-peer, but it has to pass through their servers in order for security checks and connection stuff. That's where it's really funny to me, because it's like, if you just removed the middleman there, these games wouldn't have to ever shut down.
Yeah.
Ever.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hit the point now where people have to reverse engineer the middleman portion in order to bring games back, and that's why it's so bad. You know, multiplayer achievements really piss me off. I think also, too, to just kind of add on here to the end, people never really got these naturally most of the time either, which I think is really a point we forgot to even mention, just because we get so mad about the shutdowns. But I think when you have all these trophies, and even when the games are active, you have people hosting boosting lobbies and stuff, because the trophies and achievements, they're so... There's
hard and specific.
Yeah, very specific. Like, you need to go out of your way to get them.
Yeah.
You know, like, when you have the game online and people just need to do that just to even get it, I think it's just really ridiculous. So anyways, if you enjoyed today's video, please be sure to leave a like and subscribe. We do have several other channels down in the description below we hope you'll check out. We hope you have a fantastic day. And as always, everyone, stay shway.